December-ish, when Leo and I made a decision we'd come down to Columbia and meet with utilities and communications companies. So, very appreciative of everybody's time today. When I see a room full of people at a talk like this, I always ask myself this question: Are they here because this topic is important, or are they here because they just don't want to work? I'm pretty confident this is a very important subject for us today. Just a quick, does anybody need headsets that does not have headsets? Everybody good? Okay, good. Just before I get started, obviously I'd like to thank you. This is my first time to Columbia. Patrick, is this yours? Yeah. It's an absolutely amazing place. I mean, some of the friendliest, happiest people I've ever met, and we're having an absolutely very, very good time. So thank you for your hospitality. Also wanted to thank our partners in the back of the room, Over IT, OSI Soft, and Schneider Electric for making this event happen. They are very important partners to us, and I think it's really important that you take time to get to know them, because their solutions and the technology that they build are critical elements for utilities and communications in this digital transformation. So let's get started. My name is Jeff Rashid. I'm the Director of Utilities and Communications at Ezra Inc. The company is headquartered out of Redlands, California, but I live in Wisconsin, if you know where that is, just north of Chicago. With me today is Patrick Demer. Patrick's our lead solution engineer. He's out of Boston. You'll probably tell by the accent. And Patrick and I have worked together for about 15 years. So, welcome to the show. If I can find my clicker. From an agenda standpoint, we've had about five or six topics we'd like to cover. A couple slides on market trends, share with you a geospatial vision for utilities and communications service providers, right? A little bit about our roadmap, how we've developed a roadmap to help companies move in the correct direction, a little bit about sort of what we've been working on, and then architecture practices, and then how to get started. So speaking of getting started, let's do so. It's a very interesting time. I've been with the company now for 24 years, and I have to believe that this moment we're in is one of the most interesting times that I've ever seen. There's more change happening in the utilities and communications markets today than I've ever seen. In the utilities, we're seeing this massive increase in distributed resources, distributed energy in battery storage, solar, wind. I know it's not really hitting Columbia yet, but I will tell you that in our travels across the globe, this is a massive and rapid adoption of distributed resources, which is changing the dynamics of the utility grid in itself. The second, in some markets, in some geographic areas, there's a new retail business model emerging. And that retail business model is allowing other entities, other than the utilities, to sell power to consumers. Just hold that thought. We could buy power from somebody else. The third, which is really finally coming at us hard, smart grid as a term has been in the industry for a long time. But now, with the new IoT technologies coming out, smart grid is now becoming real with massive additions of sensor devices into our markets. That's changing a lot of things for us. And then fourth is the new prosumer. It's an entity that can both produce power and also consume power, and given the retail market, also sell that in the open market. So the scenario that's happening in many geographic areas is that I could create power supply for my house and power storage, solar or wind. I can create power in my excess as a prosumer, and I can sell it to Patrick Demer for a premium. This is changing both the engineering mechanics of the grid as well as the business model of utilities of themselves, and the common statement is, for the first time, utilities will change more in the next 5 years than they have in the past 100. On the communications side of the house, they are also seeing tremendous change, with increased pressure from over-the-top vendors basically taking the services away from them, and a rapid change in expectations, and customers that will move to other vendors at a very rapid pace. And a significant change in networking technologies like this software-defined networks, where they'll be able to provision a whole organization in a secure network at a moment's notice, which is driving an increased dependency on partners to partner with them to ultimately change their business. And then profit margins are changing dramatically, and as profits are dropping, or revenues are dropping, profits are dropping, they're trying to figure out where to position themselves. So communication service providers are being challenged with, how do we actually be more valuable to our customers, and are actually seeing that a play in the enterprise space is very much a reality, where communications providers will provide LTE and 4G and 5G chips that'll smart grid everything, and then they'll also host an array of technology that ultimately can be licensed as a service back to enterprises. That's leading to some fairly significant impacts in conversations that I've had so far. Just pausing. Am I going too fast? You okay? Okay? Okay. So, I'm asking the translator, are you okay? Slow down a little bit, okay. I got it. Organizations are just challenged with many very important questions, and they're asking themselves, do we have the information that we actually need to be a digital utility? And is it up to date? Are we able to pivot or move our organization fast enough so that we can ride the wave and not get run over by the wave? How do we actually increase revenues and profits in an era in which our services are being commoditized at the retail and at the industrial level? And from a utility standpoint, they're saying, do we actually have the information that we need and knowledge that we need to have to operate our grid if there's all this other interconnected power supply attached to it? Because it changes the mechanics of it, and then we need more information. And from a telecom side, they're saying, can we really become an IoT vendor with platforms that businesses can license from us as a service? Ultimately, do we have the people and processes and technology to make it happen? And it's a very interesting time. The map on the, well, you can move the map, but I had a map on the top right basically showing, oh, here it is. All right, let me move this forward. So the map on the top right basically showing a simulation from OSI of the interconnected renewable energy changing power flow on a grid in which is supposed to have power flow moving from right to left. And the ability to see that and understand that geospatially, and then be able to see the aerial photography to know that that's a solar array, and then what the electrical components change are very, very important. So, we realize that we are not the only company and the only technology providers that can help make a difference in digital transformation. But we also realize that geospatial understanding is very important to businesses. So we've been working on a vision of how we can actually help utilities through this digital transformation. And in our experience, GIS has become more and more essential to the conversations around digital transformation and the utility of the future and telecom of the future. It's actually caught us a little bit by surprise how important our customers are actually seeing the need for geospatial intelligence. But it serves the reason, because since most information is somehow referenced to the surface of the earth, it's most easy to understand that information in the context of geography and geospatial. So one of the things that we try to do is, in our experience, is our technology has been wanting to peacefully coexist with operational technology, outage management, ADMS, SCADA, on the telco side, provisioning systems. It has to peacefully coexist with those technologies. And it also has to work very well from the IT side, the finance, the human resources, the plant management, and etc. Which puts GIS at a very interesting place, sort of in the middle, connecting the information from operational technology and information technology. And as GIS is being drawn more and more to the center, we're challenged with how to ultimately be that company. And at the same time, how do we build our technology so that it's not just about technology? Because if we can't make it usable for people to make better decisions at a point in time in which decisions need to be made, in my opinion, technology is more or less meaningless. So one of the big efforts that we've had is making geospatial understandings, geospatial technology more available so that more people have access to it to make better decisions within the organization. So our work at Esri, we're primarily a software company, there's no secret to that, is really quite extensive. We make technology in a lot of different areas, but it's all geospatially, it's all about GIS. And what we've done in the past 5 years is increase our investment in research and development from 20% to 29% because we had to move the technology to a place that could more easily support the digital transition of utilities and communications, and local governments, and cities, and transportation companies, because these trends that are hitting utilities and communications are frankly wiping across every industry that exists. And so one of the key things we had to do is move our technology from very rigid, very static, very data-centric use cases to much more about the information and more of an agile approach. So we're going to spend the next few moments showing you what that looks like. So as we think about how we help our customers evolve their GIS. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. We have to help our customers evolve their GIS to a new place that helps them become a better utility or a better telecommunications company. So what my experience tells me there's 3 major phases in utility GIS. There was phase 1, which was paper maps. And then there was phase 2, which was digital maps, CAD many times in some levels of GIS. Then there was phase 3, which was AM, FM, about data management and design and some data level synchronizations, okay? Phase 4, actually the 4th level, is the evolution that we're talking about now, where utility and telecom GIS actually becomes a service bureau for decisions of the organization, where we take all of the history of data that we've built and managed and put it to work to drive the business. And our experience is that people matter the most. You in this room, and thankfully you're here, are the most important element to the whole thing. Because technology can't fix it all. It's people that can think and envision and dream about how to take the next step and help put their company in a new place. And more of that has to be a team across the entire organization that involves the executives, involves the championship to promote it, and real strong technical leadership. And as these teams are being developed, they're asking themselves some very big questions. Who can really help us here? Who can help us take the next step, right?